everybody, good morning and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host Anne, and disembodied voice Justin, and Kiri Dog, who is not squeaking this morning. Kiri Dog has had, just a morning. And we had a brief David, but then he exited again, stage left. Actually, yes, from his direction, stage left, but from my direction, stage right. So actually, he exited stage right. How are you, everybody? I'm going to actually get working on... We are working on the living statue today. We're going to do the stone one, but although I cut off all anatomical portions, I'm still going to paint a quick bikini on her. Because, if Wonder Woman can have a bikini, so can Ms. Greek Statue Girl. And that will keep Twitch from twitching at us. Because, nudity. We don't want to get called an adult stream. So... I am going to paint a bikini while you guys tell me what kind of stone you want. Hey, Francis, thanks for the resub. While you guys tell me what kind of stone you want. Like, what color of stone do you want? And actually, this will be good instruction, right? Because for anybody who does not like nudity and who wants to have their statue in a bikini armor, a battle thong is what we always called it in Champions, the battle thong. This will be instructive. You can always augment it with putty. Here we go. We're starting. See, our battle thong is taking shape. She's just an underwear model. She's a Greek underwear model. Well, bronze won for the metal one, but the stone won actually for for which one people wanted me to do first. We're going to do bronze and stone Shia, but as far as which one people wanted me to tackle first, they were pretty firm on the stone. Did they even have green marble in ancient Greece? Marble is... I always do marble. I've done tutorials on marble for my Patreon. Let's, Bloodstone isn't gonna work because it's out of scale. Bloodstone has tiny red flecks in it, doesn't it? It's dark green with red flecks. Again, we gotta think on scale. I mean, don't just throw something out that sounds like it'd be cool, because here, let me see. Bloodstone. Statue. Or birthstone. Oh, Bloodstone. Wow, they aren't talking... Oh, there we go. Okay. Dark green gemstone with spots of iron oxide. Okay, so that would probably carry on a statue as long as I made the red kind of like a marble, but it's also really dark. I thought about doing a fig leaf actually on the male guy. The bikini is so easy to do on women. I mean, okay, let's just, what do you really want? What kind of statue do you want, guys? I'm seeing all sorts of... Don't just ask for stuff that sounds wild, because then it won't be fun to paint. Let's see here. Well, let me see. Let me look at some... Let's see if anybody did a pink marble statue. Has anybody... So it's not very pink. Pink marble isn't... Oh, that one's pretty pink. There are some pretty pink marble statues out there. Pretty darn pink. I think green marble tends to be also really obnoxiously green. I don't think it's very good looking, personally. But, Let's see about green marble. Looking for green marble. Some of it's just kind of agate-y. Images... I'm seeing a lot of jade. I'm not seeing a lot of... Yeah, I guess green marble is kind of weird. Let me put it this here, guys. Let me put it this way. I want to do this living statue becoming half living. So I don't want to pick an obnoxious marble color, because that's going to make it... I certainly don't want to do pink, because then it won't be evident where the statue is turning to life. So... I kind of wanted to do that whole statue is half living kind of thing. So onyx is boring. Just black. Nothing. I'm looking. Let me see here. Sandstone would be interesting. Any marble would be interesting. I mean, pink marble, but pink marble's a problem, right, Jed? I just said it's a problem because if I wanted to make her turning to flesh, then it's going to be very hard to show that changeover. I'm seeing it all over the board. Like, not black. We don't go black. Like, we could go... I kind of was thinking more of a golden kind of natural, like almost a sandstone color, but not with striations. Although, the problem is that sandstone statues, when they were done, are very, very large. Let's see here. Let's just put in Greek statue. I think they were almost all marble. Statue material. Stone. Let's do a Google. Ancient Greek sculpture. Oh, it's a Kickstarter. We don't care about that. So we've got, like, you know, the gray stone kind of Greek guy. So it looks like gray. We've got marble. And then we've got... I don't know if these are granite or sandstone, but you got kind of like that reddish color, brownish color. Let me see. We're just looking at ancient sculptures right now. The gold-colored sandstone, or not, maybe not sandstone. Marble looks like. Looks like mostly marble, guys. Here we are. So here we go. So limestone, right? Bronze never went out of fashion, but the stone of choice would become marble. Naxos marble, Paros marble, and Pentelic marble. So looks like mostly white and pale gray with golden. The Athens one is a honey colored. Hey there, Dragon Pink. Shuttle stop. White with gray and silver striations with little black flecks. Well, it's a living statue, Muses, so it's gonna be a monster. I like my living statues to kind of come to real life. Yeah, a whole bunch of different stuff, right? Let me see. Naxos marble. Naxos marble is kind of that pale grayish brown one. The Athenian one was, and that was pretty... Naxos is also really close grained. It sparkles. It doesn't have it doesn't have, like, real veins. CL, I've done NMM Gold so much. Like, we're doing definitely a stone on this one. Alabaster is interesting. Let me see what alabaster looks... Is it just white? Because it's, like, translucent, isn't it? I think it's, like... Fine-grained, resembles highly polished marble or onyx. The variety of color and veining is seen in types of alabaster is reminiscent of colored white marble. All right. So we could go with a pale... Sounds like alabaster is like comes in like pink and golden and gray and white. Marbled agate. Muse's Touch, the way I like to have them is that they start out as statues, then magically turn to life. They're still hard-like statues, but I really like doing the effect of a statue that's coming to life. If you don't want to, if you just want me to do some, you know, stone, I'll do some stone, but I think it's a lot more interesting if I'm doing the kind of fade. Kriniko, what do you got? Marbled agate. Let me look at those. Those are crazy. Like, that's insane. I don't think that's gonna work. Wait, this one is okay. But even then... Boy. Yeah, so what I'm hearing is nobody can agree. That's what I'm hearing. But you all want me to do some sort of striation effect. So you all would... It sounds like everybody would like me to do some sort of bands of different color. Whatever that color may be. Right? So, because you're either saying marble, or you're saying alabaster, which also has some streakiness in it, or marbled agate, which has also the same kind of streakiness as marble. Hey there, Miniatures Den. We're discussing how to paint our stone living statue. Well, unfortunately, D. Clearman, the head is very clearly stone textured on this one. So we have to pretty much go, and yes, my statue has a bikini, everybody. And the reason for that, Miniatures Den, is because Twitch. How you doing? We're starting a new project today. We're doing living statues. And technically, even though it says metal, this one has a stone head and a stone base. So we're doing her as stone. Half a year, 6-month anniversary. Thanks for the resub, Ty. That's my worry, Untamed Painter, is that so many people who go with the marble effect overdo it. I'd like to do something a little more subtle and natural. But that said, I could certainly do something like this agate that has brown and kind of pinkish tones that we were just looking at, like this sucker. That's kind of cool. But then again, we also have to think about scale. So, you know. Oh, you were doing the same? But I don't want to do a way over the top marble on this necessarily either. Oh, I'm going to glue her on her base at least, so then we can have her stand up. Sadly, this model does not stand up very well without her base. Grab my Zap-A-Gap and get it over here. I made the mistake of asking chat for the color guys and immediately got every outlandish suggestion you could imagine. Oh, actually I want that, don't I? Blook. But yeah, I don't know. The problem is that I didn't have a clear concept. I was hoping for an inspiration. I do like the idea of doing a more subtle marble. Hold on. Get on there, little feet. There. Yeah, I was just thinking about if I wanted to do a dark skin fade, which would be interesting. Yeah, what I was saying is, guys, for the new guys, hi everybody on Lucas stream. I'm Ann from Reaper. So I was thinking about doing. I like to do living statues when I paint them. I like to do them actually shifting to flesh, like kind of a stone to flesh effect. I find that maybe kind of doing them like they're shifting from the stone into like a real being is a cool effect to do, and it kind of gets you that living thing. Because if you paint them just like they're stone, they just look like regular statues. Yeah, I wanna do the transformational kind of thing. I was talking about that a bit ago, but yeah, we were just trying to figure out what marble effect or stone effect to do. It is true that if we started with a lighter stone and we made it going to dark skin, we might be able to carry that pretty well. I think I'm gonna have to do like kind of a top-down stone for this. So I'm gonna have to do the helmet in stone and have the stone effect kind of carry down across this. And then maybe even kind of resurge down here and have this side of her. And it's not going to be like a straight up line, obviously. You're going to kind of make it irregular, right? So what I have on yeah, it's way more interesting, right, Julie? Exactly. Cool stone to warm flesh is what I'm seeing. Yeah, usually, okay, we can, what I'm seeing now is that you guys like the idea of a lighter stone to a darker skin, am I right? So let me grab my dark skin tones. Where are you, Ready Flesh? Where are you, Ebony Flesh? Ebony Flesh. There we go. How dark do we want it? I think I'm more inclined to go with a Ruddy Flesh. Let me find that color. There it is. There it is. So, just to give you guys the assortment of skin tones here, and I always use these two because they make the most convincing African skin tones on the planet. If you want a dark skin model, these work really well. Starting with a base of Ruddy Flesh gives you the same color as our friend Zari here. So kind of a golden bronze color with a lot of golden highlights on it. Whereas starting with ebony flesh is going to give us the color we used on our Sphinx. So a much darker tone for the skin. So which way do you guys want to go on this statue? Do you want to go with the really, really dark or the more golden brown color? Which one? Give me a choice. Redcon, I have a very limited. I mean, I probably use about less than 100 colors, right? Like, as far as regularly, I probably use less than 50 really regularly in MFSP. And the reason is just that I made the paint line, so I know how to mix anything I want. So, really dark, golden brown. All right, let's put up a poll. Justin, can you put up a poll? Oh, you want to go lighter than either, Pendrake? You want to take it even lighter than Zari? All right, so are you there, Justin? Can you poll for me?
Yeah, give me a second.
What skin tone on the living statue? Dark like the Sphinx, golden brown like Zari, or like the Bard, or even lighter? Well, I mean, Redcon, if you're not into mixing, then buying a lot of paints gives you options, right? See, it's which way do you want to go? If you want to mix more, you can get away with a very small selection of paints and do a lot of mixing. And just
what options did you want again? Sorry.
Okay, very dark skin like the Sphinx, golden brown skin like the Bard, or dark but still lighter than the Bard. Yeah, I mean, if we go lighter than the Bard, it'll be like more of a Greek golden skin. Sphinx or Bard is pretty evident. Sphinxy, I mean, I'm privately calling the Sphinx after our Goddess of Wisdom in our role-playing game, but that's just me. All right, poll is up. Vote. Dark like Sphinx, golden brown like Bard, or lighter than Bard.
Yeah, and it wouldn't let me put the whole sentence in there since apparently they limit you on characters for it.
That's okay. That's all right. People get the idea. What skin tone for our statue, everybody? And I will rock it that way. And then maybe I'll roll on my random color table for the marble shift. Yeah, I mean, never regret buying paints, but it's like my paint selection fits in a drawer is probably, if I had to guess, there's about 60 paints or 70 paints in this drawer. I've got maybe another 20. Yeah, it's probably just short of 100 paints that I use, or about 100. And of those, at least half do not get used regularly. They're just very useful, so I keep them around. So, what do we got? What do we got? All right, people are definitely going lighter than the Bard, which is good. We can work up a skin tone that is lighter than that. We'll have to think about how we're gonna mix that. I think I want to still start with ruddy flesh, but the ruddy flesh will be for shadows. I think I'm gonna go with sandy brown to build that, and a bit of yellow. Where's my NMM gold highlight? Maybe that or lemon yellow. Or Assyrian sand. Yeah, I don't want to go too yellow. This will be interesting. All right, so this will be fun. This will be fun. But wait, people are voting for the Bard skin color. We're tied now. We're tied at the Bard or lighter. Well, Sphinxy is definitely out of the running then. Bye, everybody. It is a tight poll. Oh, well, I don't know if I'm using them yet, Rella. Actually, should keep that in for now, because if we're doing ruddy flesh, we're gonna shade with ebony. Yeah, I mean, if you want to be able to just reach for a color, get a huge collection of paints. If you want to be able to hit anything you want but have to mix a bunch, then do what I do and just go for like 100 colors. And my 100 colors aren't all mixing colors. Sometimes it's colors like that are just really hard to mix. Like the new Orchid Purple that's coming out with the Kickstarter. This is a pain to mix. And like things like Pathfinder or Boggart Green, this is a beautiful color, but it would be a pain to try to mix this and nail it every time. So that's how I make my decisions, is that if it's a color I really like, but that would be hard to mix every time just because of, something about it, then I will get it if I really like it. Even then, though, I'm constantly assessing this drawer and yanking paints that I haven't used in like 4 months and just putting them back in my bigger box of paints, because I have a big box of paints because I use a lot of colors in the course of my Patreon that I don't use regularly, but that people want tips on. So, All right. Dark color out. Actually, it looks like it ended on dark, but lighter than the bard. All right, cool. Let me put Sphinxy back up. Back with her dudes. Her other stream dudes. And we will go lighter. All right, so we're dropping Ebony Flesh right out then. Because if we want to go dark-skinned, but we want to go lighter, we're going to start with Ruddy Flesh as our shadow. And then we're going to go up from there. So let me drop my Ruddy Flesh back in here. Into the dark browns box, which is probably the most important box that I have in my my thing there. Let's see here. So many yellows out that I don't need right now. Go yellows, be banished, banished. There we go. All right, now we can get down to business. I want a. We're gonna geek out. Hold on, I'm gonna roll a d6, and that's the color I'm gonna take the marble. Red is 1. Oh, we'll use the purple dice, the shiny purple dice, right? Okay. So orange. So that's going to be probably that honey gold color. That might be too easy. Let me get an alternative. That one says blue. We'll think about it. It'll be either a blue-gray or an orange, orange gold, honey gold type of color. Then, whoops, sorry, get out of the frame. I banish thee, Bard. All right. All right, so let's talk about skin tones then. And, how we're going to build this. So we want to start with our golden brown color, right? Well, if you want to watch how I painted the Sphinx skin villain, you can go back in Reaper's YouTube. All those episodes are still there, and you should be able to find it. Like, we usually put the description, like, you should be able to search by her name, by Sphinx, and get it. I don't know. How did you tag those videos, Justin? Did you put Sphinx in there or just her item number?
I believe I tried to do one of each during the chain. When we go back through and we reorganize the YouTube one of these days, whenever we find time to do that, they're all going to be in like their own playlists. So if you want to see the Sphinx from beginning to end, then you can see it, right? Or at least from when we stopped painting it, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the ceramic palette.
So that's the eventual plan. Okay,
well, you can search by Sphinx or you can search by her number. Real quick, there's Sphinx's number, 77576. So easy to remember, 77576. And then you can go and look, because her skin tones really turned out well. And it can be tricky sometimes to go from ebony flesh to ruddy flesh. They are meant to work together, but I thin a lot. So, all right, I don't want to go real Caucasian with this, but sandy brown. I suppose, oh wait, did they cancel this? Did they cancel this, guys? I can't use it if they canceled it. Oh no, run. I think they did cancel it. I think that's a canceled color. I don't remember. Justin's going to be echoey, Nomad Zeke, because my headphone jack for my computer is malfunctioning. Sorry, it's just the way it's going to be. Until I get a new computer. Yeah, they did cancel it. Thank you, Polaris. I am going to grab something similar then. Let's go with leather brown. Golden skin tones tend not to have as much red in them, so you could go with a golden brown like leather, which is 90-30. Let me get these up here. Yeah, all the colors that I really like got canceled. Not all the colors, but you know what I mean. Have to give Ed crap about it, so... Alright, so we're going with this instead. Now, this means that these two colors are a little bit different. Like, one of them is definitely pinker, can you see? And so I would normally go with something like this. Instead, I'm veering this way. That means that what I probably will do is add some red to this midtone, just a little bit. Otherwise, it can look not living. So, yes, echoing Justin's just from the grave. Tashi, this is an old system. I am the kind of person who is not techie. I don't mess around with that crap. I just say, this computer is 6 years old. I will budget for a new one. It's a laptop. It's a gaming laptop. It's an old Alienware. Alright, so let me see here. I do not have new computer components. I am a starving artist. What red should I use? Well, my go-to red, which everybody should buy because it's very pretty, is Asmodeus Red, which is a Pathfinder color. One of the best reds we make. Yeah, I am not a... Right, exactly. I wouldn't bother replacing anything from this. I do like the fact that it's a laptop because I can set it all up here. I don't have to mess around with cords under my desk. I have no space to mess around with cords. All right, so let's get back to painting because that's more important than computers at this point. All right, so a Ruddy Flesh. I've got 4 drops there. I've got 1 drop there. We're going to invert this a bit. And we're going to put 1 drop of the leather brown into that and 4 drops of the leather brown into this. And I'm thinking I want just a tiny, like, I almost don't want, here's the Asmodeus Red for you guys to see. Oh, if it comes out. It's requiring a pokey tool today. The toll of the Asmodeus Red is the pokey tool. There we go. So it's a very pretty dark brick red, but we don't need a lot of it. We just want to make this color a little bit less static. Like, it's hard to describe, but because there's blood flow under the skin with humans, you almost always get a little reddish tone. Even on Asiatic skin tones, which are very, very golden, you will still get a little bit of red or pink in some places. And without that, it looks like you're painting something plastic. It doesn't look lifelike. So... yeah, it does, Nomad Zeke. It does get obnoxious. I agree with you. So what I'm going to do is do that. We're going to try that. And I'm just going to take a tiny bit, like a tiny, tiny bit, little bit of red, and mix it into this. Just to take it a little bit more. I kind of like that, actually. That's a nice honey gold color. The way that the leather brown shifts when you add the Ruddy Flesh is really nice. I think that's a really good color here. Let me... show you guys with my base. Usually what I have to do is put a nice something black in the frame so that my computer will show you the color. That's the pretty color. So what we're doing is there, and you can see the real colors there. So this is our 4 drops of Ruddy Flesh with 1 drop of the leather brown, which we're using kind of as a middle skin tone. So there's that color that we came from. Now, when you look at these now, you can see this one shifted just a tiny bit more red. Like, it's a little bit different than this, which is very dark golden brown. That's fine. We'll start with this. We'll go to that. We'll probably mix a bit more of this in for, like, if we hit any areas that need a little bit more blush or need a little bit more red. We're not looking for... oh, hold on. Oh yeah, everybody did it. Everybody painted their statues for sure. Oh, I'm super gluing my fingers. It is, but we're also just gonna like not do that on this one. Because we want stone. We're gonna be boring. We're not gonna be realistic. This time. So the only time you're going to hear Anne say, sorry, I've got extra super glue on the space, guys, and I've got to get it off of there because otherwise I'm going to glue the statue to my finger. And this is not a good way to start my Wednesday. So I'm just going to make sure that I've got all the extra glue off of there. There was just a little pit of glue where the shield goes down there. Oh no, it's raid. Jeez, CNOT, with the huge raid, and I haven't even painted anything good looking yet. We were just setting this up. talking about doing darker skin tones. Arg! So what we're doing today is a living statue. And I took off her head. So I probably need to put her head back on. So, and we've painted a bikini on her because Twitch. But we're painting her. How's it going, everybody? Holly Monster, thanks for the resub. Yes, we're totally being rated. All right, so what we're doing today, guys, is we're trying to make a fade from a flesh color to a marble color across the model. So, because it's a stone statue, but because it's a living statue, what I like to do is to kind of paint them like they're coming to life, like literally. So, thinking the stone is going to come across the body like this, because the head is definitely sculpted as if it's stone. And then we're essentially going to do a blend between the skin tone that we're doing and a stone. And to make it harder, because, you know, it couldn't be easy, people wanted me to do a darker skin tone. So, and it's a custom skin tone that I have to hand mix. Let me make sure we're in focus here. So, hey, Gallifire, how's it going? Yeah, you guys totally broke us. That was a huge raid. Thank you so much. So now I have to question, like, how I'm going to build this skin tone, because I gave them a choice between really, really kind of ebony dark or this color with Zari, which is, she's meant to be more Arabic, but they wanted dark but still a little lighter than this model. So essentially what I'm having to do is build a custom skin tone for this. So what we are starting with is the ruddy flesh that actually Zari, that bard, had as her base, but we're making this the shadow. From there, we have to build up to a skin tone that's kind of golden. So we don't want to go too Caucasian with it. So I'm moving away. I'm not grabbing my usual tan skin, and instead I'm grabbing a color called leather brown, which is similar. I would use that plus a little bit of red. I told myself I won't use any out of print colors, so I had to put the color I would have used away and mix something. So leather brown is a very golden brown tan, but the problem is that it needs a little red in it to look like lifelike, to have it read as skin. And so I was using Asmodeus red here, which is a Pathfinder color, which is a very pretty brick red. You can kind of see all my colors here, to mix in a little bit to the leather brown until I get something I like. At that point, once I nail the mix for this, then I'm going to use probably pale yellows to bring it up higher. In a normal skin tone, I would add white, but since this is a more golden tone, you would have to ask each artist if they are taking commissions, Chia. I find it a little lifeless in Aura. I find I do need to add a little red to it, or at least I need to glaze a bit of red, which is why I got the Asmodeus out. But yes, it can do duty as a golden skin tone. Absolutely, it can. So yeah, Chia, if you want to buy something painted by Michael Proctor, you have to contact Michael Proctor and ask him if he's taking commissions. Same with Rhonda, same with me. I know I think Rhonda does commissions, but I'm full up on commissions through into next year for sure. So I'm currently not taking new commissions until I catch up. But every artist is different. Reaper doesn't sell its painted collection, so you can't necessarily do that. I don't think Derek does commissions. I'm thinking about the other artists. Some people, like, your best bet, Chia, is to come to ReaperCon next time we have one in person and talk to the artists and find out if you can get anybody to do it. Either that or ask me maybe later in the year. All right, so let us start blocking in where we want our skin to be. We're going to start with this, and I'm going to see if I like it enough. We're going to, actually that's a really good skin tone. And I'm going to be really irregular with this, guys, because what I want is kind of the idea of stone tendrils, like the flesh kind of, the stone kind of retreating and the flesh coming in. So as I paint this, oh no, we're wiping out our bikini. Don't look, Twitch. As I paint this, I'm going to be trying to make interesting shapes that are almost like a marble effect, so don't lose hope. And we're going to really be making these kind of reach into each other and blend into each other, which is going to be very interesting. I rolled randomly to see what stone color, and it came up with a kind of a brown, and I just don't like that idea. So maybe I will do a pale marble with some interesting colors in it. I kind of did like that marbled agate that I found with the pink and orange in it. So we're going to do this sort of start. Oh, it'll cost too much to get there. Yep. Well, you could try contacting people via emails or Facebooks and stalking them that way, but some of them would be fine with that and others wouldn't be. I'm just not sure who takes commissions. All right, so maybe we'll go and we'll bring it all the way over here. Because we do want to cross the streams a little bit here. We want to not have everything be on all one side of the model. So I want this to be very interesting. I want this mixture of stone and life to be pretty organic. So I may make like holes and splotches and things like that. So here we go. And obviously the skin's going to stop at her greave, but it's going to come up again on the feet. I do like this color. I agree with you, Inara. I like it a little better with the red in it, but it is a good golden skin color. You're right. So everybody make a note. Inara was totally right. If you are looking for a golden skin tone, try Leather Brown 9030. I personally would have thought it was a little bit too dull for my taste, but it's actually... I added just a little red to it, but it actually does look pretty good. The Pieta, yeah, is a more golden cream, which I really... The Pieta is one of my favorite sculptures of all time. I love that thing. What blows my mind, like, marble sculpture blows my mind. Because I think about, like, the crazy it took to get such a lifelike sculpture out of just a block of rock. Like, it's not something I could ever do. So it always impresses the heck out of me, and La Pieta is my favorite. Just like the intensely lifelike like skin and cloth, where it just looks like it's gonna they're just gonna look up at you in the next minute. It's just it's fantastic. Here we go. So you've got some splotchiness and some kind of swirliness. Oh, it's Pieta, just not La Pieta. For some reason I thought it was La. But it's been a long time since my art history. Long time since my art history class. Thank God, too, because who likes art history? Not me. At least I didn't enjoy taking it, because really it's all just rote memorization. It would be so much cooler if they gave you more time or let you focus on like a particular aspect of art history. There we go. So then we got a splotch of skin tone over there. So let's do the back of her. Oh, sorry, no bikini. Wait. We don't want Twitch to get twitchy on us. Well, except that there's so little history. Like, so little history, Amy. Like, I took, like, 2 semesters of art history, and it was all rote memorization. Like, that was just, like, they'd like, touch on a particular piece of art for maybe a minute or 2, and then it would be on to the next piece. And maybe you'd get a minute or 2. You know, if it was considered a less notable piece, you'd get even less. Ah, I forgot to glue that head on. Oops. It's comedy day for Anne, I think. So let's get our bikini in place so that Twitch likes us. Bikini. There we go. I did take off any anatomical correctness with a knife before I decided to paint the bikini. But you never know. So it's always safer to give her a battle thong, in my opinion. Like I said, if Wonder Woman can have a battle thong, then Greek statue can have a battle thong. Really, we're just making her a Greek underwear model, as I was saying earlier. Yeah, exactly. A semester of Asian art history barely gets you into anything. Yeah, I'm a Michelangelo fan as well. Although, I'm just going to yeah, let's just do that. All right. I do need to put a band around the back of the bikini. Boop. Painting the bikini on the statue. I'm like, whoever sculpted this is really mad at me now. At least it's not a fig leaf, Jean. At least it's not a fig leaf. Yeah, I was going to work on Catgirl today, guys, but I forgot that I have my new schedule. It's something that Reaper wanted me to try, where I just, I commit in advance to what I'm doing, and since I never know when I am gonna, like, how much time it's gonna take me to finish something precisely, I just decided to work on a different model every day and then kind of loop. So yeah, sorry no cat today. But once I commit to the schedule, I'm supposed to stay on it. This might be an argument for not having a set schedule. I mean, really, the question is, do people like to know what I'm going to be working on? Or would people rather, you know, see me have some freedom to that, so where we can keep working on a project that we're really feeling, you know, it's that kind of thing. So this is just something we're trying out, but that's why we're not working on the cat today. Instead, we're working on a Jean piece instead of a Julie piece. Well, yeah, a bunch of people still have a cat girl trapped in the blister, probably. Yeah, Ash, how's it going? Yeah, Pieta is totally where it's all about, as far as I'm concerned. All right, let's see here. Let's kind of. I'm not going to block in our skin tones like super heavy because I'm still going to be going in with a marble idea. You guys want dark and light, so yeah, I definitely need to make the marble have some different colors in it to make it look interesting, though. All right, so skin, and it's going across and down, so that means it's probably up here. There may be a little tendril going down like that. Oh, got some water in my brush. I can see the blob. Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I'm a little sad because I felt like we were doing very well on the cat girl, and so I would have liked to do another day with her to get her fur figured out. Especially because I had to hand mix so many colors. Like that's the other thing, right? Is like if I have to switch it up every day, it discourages me from mixing some stuff and showing you guys some more complex mixtures and stuff. So let's see here, just a little bit over there. A lot here. This butt cheek will be almost all skin. I hereby decree it. Why not? Because we like painting butts. I like painting skin tones at any rate, so we'll just do what we can. And bring that stone around in blobs and dashes. Almost tiger stripes. And then we can, there's actually openings at the bottom here, so we can make the feet all flesh. Love to you too, Ash. Yeah, you know, it's work is a thing. We all have it. Mine just happens to be, you know, painting things for you guys. But we totally understand if you can't make it because work is keeping you from hanging out with us. We just hope that when you have time, you will hang out with us. I missed a mold line. I'm a bad painter. Let's put a blob of skin in the middle of this. There. And a little bit of streak of skin there. And then we did get some skin going down here. Let's see how much. Probably just a bit. Yeah, this is looking cool. I've never done it this way before, guys, where I'm blobbing in like random blobs also. So this will be a fun thing for me too. And I'm going to go and shade the skin tones. Then we're going to figure out our marble color. We definitely want to make it different. I'm going to make the feet all flesh. And we'll do kind of a cut like here over the pauldrons. Yeah, we got 2 giant raids, Chia. So, all right, let's get some. All right, guys, let's actually figure out a color for the marbles. So I was looking at something palish. Let's start with, do I have weathered gray over here? I might only have rainy. You wanted a light marble. So maybe a mixture of wolf and misty, which will be very different. Very, very different. It'll be difficult to do that. I might go a little bit more brown. Let me see what I got in my box of doom. I did roll that orange brown. Not stained ivory, too yellow. Bone color? That could be fun. Yeah, I kind of want to go warmer. How about the bone color? Oh, this is another canceled color. Arg, Ed, I blame you. All right, we're gonna have to mix it. Oh my gosh. Zambies. We have a Zambies. Cold stone and warm flesh. All right, that makes it harder. So let's do it. Let us do it. So then we will use a colder gray. This is going to be interesting. I have to think about how I want to do this. Maybe I could put, well, we'll figure it out. We will just figure it out. It's going to be very hard to make it look right. So I want a lighter color and browner color than this, to be honest, for marble. So let us straighten up our camera and do a bit of mixing. Yes, yes, yes. I'm not popular. C-Not is popular. That guy's awesome. And so is Luca. Those two are the heavyweights. They get fantastic numbers of people who adore them. Me, I'm just a wannabe. I'm just a little Anne doing my little show. So yeah. All right, so I'm going to start out with a few drops of wolf gray. And then I'm going to pop in just a little bit of misty gray, make it a little colder. I'm going to see how this looks. Usually with stone, I want it just a tad brown. But this might be an okay color. It's going to be very different. And I might want to actually marble it as I go. So let me add some water to this. And then let me get some bleached linen. And see how different these are. See if they're going to work for a marble. I'm fantastic. Yes, thank you. Having some pizza, huh? I am not even close to lunch yet. And I haven't had pizza for years. No, wait, I had kind of a not real pizza. Because I did find a low-carb crust that was gluten-free. I guess I had that. That was like 6 months ago. So I guess you could call that quote-unquote pizza. And no tomato sauce, just pesto. Which is why I don't do pizza very much, because pesto, oh my god, it's so good, but the calories. All right, so I think these will work. So I'm thinking of using like wolf gray and bleached linen. These are both bones colors. I did use a little bit of misty gray, but in retrospect, I think I don't really need it. I'm going to pop that actually back in there. All right. I don't know what I'm going for. People said they wanted pale marble and they wanted dark skin, so that's what we're doing, Chibi. That's what we're doing. And we're just going to see how it works. Because this is much more contrast than I've done with this kind of technique in the past. So now we get to see how it works. All right, so let's pop this on. I really, really should put her head on, but I'm not going to glue it because that's fraught with peril when I'm using my best brush. This is a very, very light gray. I may want to make it darker. I may want to actually go with wolf gray. Yeah, I think that's too pale. We're going to go with straight up wolf gray. Yeah, I can't do tomatoes. They are poisonous to me. So here we go. Yeah, that's a little bit darker. All right, cool. So we're gonna, I think this will work. We're gonna do a little bit of wet blending. Because remember, I want to blend. I want to fade. So we're gonna lay down, I'm gonna put just a drop of water because I re-washed this yesterday after my painting difficulties yesterday, since I don't actually prime these bones models. I washed it to make sure that the paint would stick today, so I'm going to add a little bit of water, because it drives me crazy to paint with paint that's right out of the bottle. So darn thick, I hate it. Need to add at least a little bit of water. So let's get this in here, and then let's start doing some wet blend. No, I have well, what they think is Crohn's disease. Chia. So my trigger is tomatoes. They really upset my guts. Which is fine with me, because I was never a huge fan of them, and I found lots of tasty replacements. Alright, so we're going to do kind of a wet blend here, guys, and we're going to see if we can get these things to work. Yeah, tomatoes are, like, it's getting to the point where, I can take something if there's just a little tiny bit of tomato paste in it, like certain curries, certain Indian food. It'll be okay if it's just a tiny bit and it's mixed in with lots of other things. I'm having it over my cauliflower rice, but otherwise, tomatoes, highly toxic to Anne. I can tell immediately when I've had secret tomatoes, usually. It's why we don't go out to Mexican anymore, because they seem to hide tomatoes in a lot of things. And we make better fajitas at home anyway. Alright, so kind of want to grab some of this wolf gray and bring it back over here a little bit at the same time as we're mixing it in. So we're making kind of, see how we're kind of mixing them and blending them in the middle? I don't miss ketchup. I'm probably better without ketchup, Star Wars geek. And I'll tell you guys, when, you think, oh, I can never live without X, I could, never live without Y. But when it comes down to your health and being in my case, going, for 2.5 years, having a bunch of surgery, you change your mind real quick on how much you love ketchup. At least if you're me. I hate being in hospitals, and I'm not a fan in general of like being in the doctor's office a lot. So for me, that was a huge wake-up call, and just however I had to change my diet, I was gonna do it. No beer anymore? Okay, no beer anymore. No tomatoes, because alcohol is also an inflammatory for me. So yeah, it's like you think you can never live without a thing, but in reality, I find that for me that is not the case. I just had to find other things that I could eat that I liked also. There we go. So yeah, they like to put tomatoes in everything. Even like they hide them in the refried beans even, Hyper Bunny. I think I'm safe, and then I feel awful and I'm like, "Oh no." Then I have to go take my meds. Nickel-free tomato produced in Tuscany. Yeah. Yeah, it's not nickel. It's like weird acidity and nightshades and stuff. Yeah. Yeah, about gluten, right? Miserable and exhausted, and it was just gluten. Yep, Ash, I feel ya. I went gluten-free back in 2013. That was after my first surgery. My surgeon recommended it. Yeah, life or ketchup, you'll choose life. Yeah, that's pretty much, right? But I find that tamarind paste is a really good substitute for that particular acidic profile. So it's not a tomato, but like if you use if you just like the flavor of tomato in things, like if you add tomato to stews for the kind of the flavor profile, tamarind is good. All right, so now we're doing kind of a blendy thing. See, so I don't want a big long blend, and I'll have to work on this area up here. But this is also a hard area because it's going to get highlights, so we're getting there. But here, what I want is kind of an abrupt blend. So I definitely want to quickly blend from the gray to the brown. And it needs to be pretty fast blend, because I still want this effect of fading, of striping. And if I get too wide with my blends, I'm going to lose that. I'm also going to need to make sure that I am, highlighting and shading with very different colors on both sides of this to make that effect work. And I can bring a little bit more gray into this area here, because I want interesting shapes. Like I like the look of the midriff here. I think that's pretty cool. I don't know, Chia, but I'm not willing to take the chance. Like I said, I don't miss them enough. Like, in a lot of cases, the foods that I had dropped from my diet were ones that I wasn't crazy about anyway. Like, I do not miss tomatoes. I don't really feel like I am less, I look at David making his caprese sandwiches, and I'm just like, no, never really liked them to begin with. I mean, I missed fresh salsa for a while, but I can do tomatillo salsa without ill effect. So I just do that if I want salsa. So yeah, it's interesting that they've made that modification though with the tomatoes, that they remove the nickel. Science is funky. I'm losing it. I meant too light with that. it is cool that they're trying to like solve some diet issues. All right, so I'm going to keep moving down while I've got my paint at full strength, because if I want to blend this a little bit better, I'm probably going to have to go with thinner paint. But I want to get all of this blocked in with the gray and everything before we go back and start fine-tuning things. So if I'm going to wet blend against a dry edge, I need to put on my paint fairly thick up against that edge so that it stays wet for a little bit. Then pick up a little bit of my previous brown color and start that blend. And I can bring back a damp brush to blend it in a little bit more, kind of feather the edge to make that blend. And it isn't a perfect blend. It doesn't have to be. Especially, you know, we've got plenty of room to work yet. But I want to get things blocked in. This is my version. When you have to do like a quick blend, or when you're doing a blended base coat, blocking in it becomes more like about wet blending, in my opinion, than anything. Like I do, whereas when we were blocking in our cat person's face yesterday, get out cat person, she can come up here. Shadow Eyes, the cat person rogue. When we were blocking in her face yesterday, I was definitely doing blocks, where I was not blending anything. But here, over these big broad surfaces, when I'm blocking in, I do want a little bit of that blend to work from, and then I can start suggesting like chunks of But yeah, so essentially doing a blended base coat with this sort of effect, as opposed to doing a blocked in base coat and then tuning it with that effect, is two different ways you can work. I like the blended one on this because I've got big flat surfaces to work with. Yeah, Ash, what I always tell people is that wet blending is a useful tool to have in your painter toolbox, but it is not a necessary one. I do not teach it as part of like what I consider the necessary techniques to master. Like there are definitely foundational techniques, and I put wet blending on that list, but at the very end, and I tell people you don't have to do this. You can always learn to layer. And part of that is that wet blending can work better or worse depending on where you are. Like if you live in a high humidity region, you're gonna have an easier time doing wet blending than somebody who lives in an arid one, because you got to get the paint to stay wet on the model. And I'm not a big fan of additives like slow dry, because they alter the paint. So that means that if I'm going to recommend the technique, like I don't like telling somebody that, hey, this is a foundational technique, you really need to learn it, when it's something that they're going to struggle with pretty much their entire life unless they, you know, are in a more humid climate or environment. Like some people also just have a knack for wet blending and they'll make it work, and some don't. Yeah, I mean, I can believe that gluten was inflammatory for a lot of people in ancient times. I don't know, I mean, an inflammatory substance is an inflammatory substance. Some people react more and some people won't react. I just try to eat as anti-inflammatory a diet as I can. So if I have a reaction to something, I tend to look for alternatives. Luckily, today, there are usually plenty of alternatives that you can get for various things. All right, let's see here. I'm going to kind of carry in a little bit of stripes, a little bit of finer detail here. We're getting that. That's working. This is working out pretty well. So over here, I want to go mostly gray. My gray is so very pale. It's the same color. The problem is the gray is the same color as the bones material, right? So it's like, wait, what am I doing? Am I even painting? Am I even painting? Or am I just like, you know, dreaming I'm painting? I have no idea. Like, I did manage to pick it turns out wolf gray is the color of bones, guys. So if you want to paint, not paint your bones. Paint them wolf gray. So now we'll get into the cool where here we've got mostly skin with some stone, and now we're going to get, over here we're going to get stone with some skin. And again, I want to get a little bit of a blend, but not a ton. And I don't want to totally lose my pattern either. Like if I've got some of these like these streaks that look like rock, I want to keep some of that. So I may kind of reintroduce a little bit of that. Especially because we're looking at a marbling effect, right? So now we're going marble not just with the stone, which we'll have to get to soon, but with the skin. Yeah, well, that's what I found out too, Ash, is when I went gluten-free for a couple of years, and then I went keto, and now I go between real keto and low carb at this point. Like over the holidays, it's definitely low carb, because it's really hard to stay keto over the holidays. I mean, I can make keto cookies, but I don't want to necessarily make David eat keto cookies. Although I think they're tasty. And some of them that I make, he thinks are tasty. But some things, when you try to make them, they're sufficiently different because you have to use different sugars. So, all right. So there we go. Anything stone has got to be the gray. So I'm actually going to go down over this. We have to decide at this point, like, how much of this. I'm probably going to do this entire leg guard in the stone color just to get a base coat on it. And then when we decide for colors for this armor, then we'll do that. And I'll bring just a little bit of stone down onto this foot. Just a little. Just to kind of bring it down. So there we're going. We kind of got this moving. All right. I think I'll do that on the other side too, is I'm just going to put a gray base coat down. Just get a base coat on this, something I can paint over. So I'm not painting over bones. And we'll have to decide what color the leg guards are going to be, if we're going to make them bronze or a color of some sort. I was very, very clumsy on taking these mold lines off, that's for sure. But they're a statue, so I don't care so much. Yeah, Sully. Yeah, I know, right? Okay, so the problem with Old West Rose is that it was a color that I made to replace an entire triad of rose-colored paints, which didn't sell very well. And unfortunately, then Old West Rose promptly didn't sell well itself. So that gives us obviously these colors aren't selling right, so that's why Reaper canceled it. But the problem is, the reason I did a replacement color for the triad in the first place is there's nothing else like it. The way to mix it, or something close to it, is to take the red of your choice, be it, like, I would usually probably say Heraldic Red, or maybe Asmodeus Red, even this one from Pathfinder, add white, and then add just a touch of brown. Tiny touch of brown. And you should get there. Just make sure that you're not using a very yellowish, a really yellowish brown. Use something more medium. Oh, to go with like a copper kind of greaves? We could possibly do that. I mean, right now our palette is very earthy and stony. It's very naturalistic, and it's not, it has no strong color to it. The strongest color is going to be the skin tone at this point, unless we decide to do something about it. Oh, I thinned my paint too much. It's wanting to slide off the buttock. No! Alright, let's get some of that brown in and wet blend that. So I put on a very thick layer. You can see how shiny and glossy that is, guys. See how thick that is? So then pick up a little bit of the skin tone and just kind of stipple it almost. Stipple and streak it to make it go. See how it's kind of flowing together? If you do this kind of wet blend where you're putting a lot of paint down and then you kind of dab other paint into it, you'll see it kind of make those swirling patterns, the out of control things, the artifacts, and you can utilize that with stone. So it's not, you can use it so you don't have to worry about it like being kind of random. You can kind of carry it out if you want. And then if I want even more over here, I can. Although there's so much paint down here that I'm not getting much. You can see how it's hard to bring it in when you've got a big load of paint on the leg there. Yeah, I think, oh, let me see real quick. Let me see if I can find a good mix for you. While I wait, I'll have to wait for that buttock to dry anyway. Ah, the head fell off again. Ah, it's one of those days, guys. It's just one of those days, right? Here, let's let you look at the front part, which looks cooler. Let's try Amadeus Red real quick and drop some pure white into it. So 1 drop of Amadeus, 2 drops of pure white. Then let me see where that looks like. Oh, come on, pure white. Give me 2 solid drops here. My pure white is getting toward the end of its bottle and it's getting kind of persnickety. But let me mix that up and see. Yeah, that's getting there. So I would use, if you have Asmodeus, although you could try, Asmodeus is a nice dark red, and it's going to give you a little bit of a different pink. Every red is going to give you a little bit of a different pink. So that's Asmodeus's pink, right? So then if you take a little bit of this, say, Ruddy Flesh, and you mix it in, hold on. So you take a little bit of this, just a bit on your brush, like that, mix it into this, you'll get very close to the rose color. This is the kind of mix that I also use, guys, for if you need to do like mouths, like the inside of mouths and stuff, because the pink that you use for that is usually a little bit brown, right? Because it's skin tone, right? It's the kind of pink you see in the end of your fingers. Even this is a little bit too pink. But that's how I would mix something that would be an equivalent for Antique Rose and just, or Old West Rose. And just kind of mess around with different reds and different browns until you find something that's close to what you need. I cannot share. Sadly, someone can't because that information is proprietary. That said, you know, I could always make new mixes to equivalent old paint. It's not hard to match colors. And just make a new formula. Alright, there we go. So, Poke Tool. I have paint all over myself because it's that sort of day. Like, seriously, gloobing myself all over the place here. And then we'll get back to our marble. I think what I'm going to do... Oh, like that one for Old West Rose. Like my cheaty fast tips. And cheaty fast color tips. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is try to get some marbling going on the marble side of this statue. I'm splooching it up a lot as it is, so it may be a little hard. So let's see what I can do. So since I want this gray to be kind of a marbly effect, I'm once again going to kind of load up the area. But now I'm going to have to use just the tip of my brush and grab some of this white. And the problem now here is that I need to make it so that the gray is very obviously marbling. And then the flesh won't be. This is going to be interesting. This could be difficult. I'm thinking it's going to take a lot of fine tuning. But the way that I do Mars, that I set up marble is with these heavy wet blends, just like I did up here on this area up on the butt cheek. I load up a big, strong load of paint onto the model, and then I take the lighter color. Usually I'm starting with my dark. Then I take the lighter color and kind of dab it in there and let it flow around to become a more natural, naturally diffused kind of effect. And then I go back and I work from that with veins and shadows. So the problem that I'm going to run into on this model is that I've broken up the marble surfaces so much that getting the marble to read correctly through the skin parts is going to be really interesting. So I almost have a double marble effect going on because I've got the skin interfering with the marble a lot like regular veining. Which could be cool and fun, actually, but it means it's probably going to be a bit more work to make things look right. The thing about doing marble like this is that you tend to lose... See the little dab I've got going up there. So I'm just putting little dabs of white and kind of streaking them in and letting them sit. come down and do a little bit of a wet blend here. Got a lot of paint on the model, so I've got to watch it. You could use two brush. I mean, the way I do, David has watched me do this technique, Ash, and essentially he says what I'm doing is two brush blending with only one brush. And I was like, yeah, I never saw the point of two brush blending. I can just do one brush blending. I don't need an extra brush to blend. In fact, sometimes I find it's detrimental. I'm one of those people who, like, when I was training dogs, has trouble juggling the clicker, the treat, and the dog's leash. So it should not come as a surprise to you that I am doing two brush with one brush, because it's less things for me to hang on to. So yeah, two brush blending is just a different way to do wet blending, which involves using an extra brush. I never found that I needed the extra brush when I started wet blending. I was coming from a oil and acrylics background where I didn't ever like having two brushes. Yeah, right. Walking, I agree with you. Like, I think, I hate to say this, guys, but the feeling that I get about two brush blending is that it's a proprietary painting style that was created by, you know, a particular company and then marketed. And it's not that it is a special snowflake. It's just another way to wet blend. So if it is too confusing for you, feel free to reject its reality, and to substitute your own. If you love two brush and it works for you, rock it. Like David, he does it. You know, he learned to do it and he does it and he likes it. It works for him. But we're back to what works for you again. And two brush blending, to me, always just sounds, why would you get that complicated? Like, why? If you didn't need to, right? I try to simplify everything, though. I am that sort of painter. I'm going to have this blend here, guys. Hold on. So, like, I'm just that sort of painter. If I can simplify it and do it one way, I will do it. No naming no names, Polaris. But I mean, it's what paint and hobby companies do. They try to find things that make them different. And P3 is famous for, or Parvatier is famous for this. Like they really try to kind of spin stuff so that, you know, to tell you how their stuff is different. And every company, I mean, tries to do this in different ways, right? So now we've got some white marble, some skin tone. We've got a whole bunch of stuff going on back here. It's interesting. This is going to be kind of fun. I get the feeling that, guys, as I go through this, I'm going to start minimizing these little pockets of skin tone a little bit. Like bringing them down so they're more like, it's almost like marble veins. See how that's starting to read? And this is an interesting way to do it. So I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be fun and interesting. I am going to bring in a little bit of white down here now. And really, I'm just blobbing it on. And then what I'm doing is I'm coming back and refining. Yeah, right. Exact. You've got it, Untamed Painter. Yeah. When you could barely hold your model, much less a second brush. You see how much paint I've been dipping myself into today? Like, and dropping things, and the heads falling off of minis, and, you know, look at me and how danger prone I am, and then tell me that I need to take up two brush blending and say it with a straight face. I challenge you. No, I don't. I'm accident prone enough, especially on days where I feel like I needed a whole nother cup of caffeine before I got on stream. Yeah, but if two brush works for you, two brush works for you. Like, it's cool. Do whatever you need to get the effect you want is the bottom line. So now, one thing I am going to do, I think, is as I start building up more layers here and bringing the marble around, I'm going to start using thinner paint. So what I need to do then is I need to finish out areas that I haven't painted with my stone color yet while it's still thick. Because once I start thinning it, it's not going to cover and stick to the bones very well. Once I thin it to the point where I would like to thin it to do the marble. So we'll do a quick blocking in, and then we'll continue with our marbly effect. I did want to get all of this stuff kind of blocked in at once too. Anyway, it helps when you're mixing colors, you're getting everything you need blocked in before you move on to the next step does help. Now I've got a lot of wet paint around here, so remember, I'm going to grab a little bit of my skin tone, kind of do a shifting wet blend out here. The obvious solution is brush chucks, yes. Private painting tutorials notorious for filling the entire wall of a large wall palette to paint a detail the size of a figure's face. Yes. Yeah, there's a lot of like, I don't know. You just, if it works for you, great. If it doesn't work for you, feel free to discard it. Even if it's the company you love that paints, and the painter is one that paints models that you adore, and but if it doesn't work for you, it's like, I always make dog comparisons because I'm a dog person, but it's like we used to say when people would get their new puppy and they'd come on our forums and be like, what should I feed my dog? What's the best food? And really the answer is the best food is a high quality food that your dog loves. And if your dog doesn't love it, it can be the best food in the world, but it'll be the worst food for your dog. So it's like that with painting. It's like the best technique is the technique that gives you the result you want, that you love to use. That is easier for you, that gets you the result that you want. You shouldn't feel like you have to change up your painting style just because like your favorite painter paints that way. I mean, you should try it by all means. Like if you have a favorite painter, well, let's just take Sergio, since he was the last class I took. Sergio or Kirill or any of those guys. And so learning how they get the results that they get is always a good idea. Like it can really expand your ideas. It can make you grow as a painter. I know that Kirill's class totally changed the way I paint forever. So, take classes from painters you really like and learn how they get their results. But always understand that if you try it and if it doesn't work for you, you can put it aside for a while. I do always say that you should go back. Like, feel free to go back to that technique at a later stage of your painting career, and at that point, it might make a lot of sense. But I find that even when, like, Sergio's style is very different from mine, and so I would say that taking his class didn't have as profound effect on me as Kirill's did, but at least not right away. But Sergio was also just very good at conveying some things about some aspects of painting that I hadn't really thought of before. So I did get enough out of his class to feel like it was definitely worth it. Because the way he tackles lighting is different and things like that. And it was stuff that I had put off really thinking closely about. And so it was a really good exercise. I always say you should take classes with good painters. That said, if you're a beginning painter taking like a $300 class with an advanced instructor, probably is just going to be frustrating for you. So do keep that in mind. Don't just run out and book up all the slots in everybody's courses and then go, oh, but I don't even know how to do X. I've seen that happen. That's why ReaperCon is cool, is you get a whole bunch of different painters who do things differently from each other. I'm going to keep that going like that. I could do that, Nomad Zeke. Nomad Zeke insists now that I put a plug in for my Patreon because he is an awesome fan and friend. And so, yes, guys, I have a Patreon. It is actually the thing that pays my bills. Since I moved out to the West Coast to be with David, I'm no longer on staff at Reaper. This is my job for Reaper now, is teaching y'all stuff every day. But I also teach stuff online because I can do a slightly different format when I can do PDFs and stuff like that. And more targeted videos with less talk about, diets and food and Christmas cookies and, all of the things. I made Russian tea cakes this weekend, guys. It was definitely a good idea. But yeah, so patreon.com/paintingbig. If you want more instructy things from me, come on over. I have a couple of free things up also. So if you go over, you can kind of see some fun stuff that I put up in the past. And decide if I'm kind of the way you, something that you'd be interested in. Because, everybody's teaching style is different. And some people, may not respond to the way I teach, and that's cool. I hold nothing against you. All right, so we're getting some of that color onto the leg there. I don't want to be too regular. See, I'm getting kind of tiger stripey here. So what I think I'm going to do is bring my stone more in here and wipe out a lot of that stripe. Humanity likes to see a regular pattern. So when you notice that you're doing that, Thank you, Tashi. I'm glad you like my Patreon. But when you notice that you're doing that, you're doing the same stripe everywhere, try to force yourself to switch it up a little bit. You can still keep a little bit here and there, but don't go depending too heavily on one shape and then repeating it everywhere. Boop. There. Get that in there. Get that calf, and I think we almost have a base coat on everything at that point. Why did I pick the color that Bone's material is? That makes me laugh. Of all the grays in the world, this one walked into my office. Get that in there. Oh yeah, the coaching thing. Yeah, that's although I'm starting to think about going to video for some of that. But yeah, I do offer a coaching tier right now. I'm kind of trying it out because it is a lot of work on top of what I normally do in my month. But a lot of painters actually will do this sort of thing. Sergio actually does. So does, I think Aaron Lovejoy does like a video coaching like over Skype and stuff. And a lot of painters who have Patreons and who are freelance painters will do this sort of thing, where the ideal circumstance is you are working on a model and you really don't know what's going wrong with it. And so you send pictures to your instructor, and they will review your pictures, and then they'll come back and sometimes they'll like Photoshop them to improve them a little bit to show you where you can improve. Other times, they'll do more of a little demo thing. Like sometimes I'll paint a little freehand sketch, that sort of thing. It depends on the instructor. Right now, I'm kind of doing a mix for my various subjects. Ideally, though, they send me a project that they're already working on, and I can help them with that. But I also, frankly, if you're on my Patreon and you post on our Discord, if you need just like a little tiny bit of feedback, I will often go on there and help the people on there. It's just not as targeted as the coaching level. Like I don't spend, you don't get a 3-page PDF just for you. So it depends on the level of coaching you want. And I coach all levels. Like I equally enjoy coaching people who are trying to get good at competition and people who are beginners. I think the beginners are at a very exciting time in their paint development because you can go so many different ways and everything is new. Do a little bit of spots. I'm getting back into that stripey thing though, so I'm gonna mess it up. Mess it up. There, haha. Marbly. Very marbly. Yes. Yeah, you're trouble, Val. That's fine. You get a buy though, Val, because you're painting an Overwatch statue. Anybody who paints an Overwatch statue, I'll accept a certain amount of trouble from you. You're also painting not only an Overwatch statue, but an Overwatch statue of my favorite character. So, you'd have to be really obnoxious for me to kick you out the door. Yes, I try to make my Discord really... I'm really glad that so many of my patrons are very helpful on our Discord. I like having a community that gives good feedback. And it's not, if you really want hardcore feedback, you want us to be honest with you and stuff, we will be. We're not just going to be, oh, it's wonderful, like your mom would be, right? You got to have constructive feedback. All right, so now I'm going to blob this up. Notice how it got all liney? So take a little bit of your wolf gray and just kind of dab at the edges of those liney bits while they're still wet. Liney bits. And that way you can get them to kind of blend in and get that kind of stripey, marbly look going on here. And maybe I'll do another one up there. So now we're going to start, as you can see what I'm doing here is I'm laying the groundwork for the streaks and, stripes and striations that marble would have, right? I'm just starting with patching in dark and light. And from here, what we do is we emphasize dark and light areas of the marble to get it to go the way you want to. And I didn't realize I was doing this, but I do like that the marble is like streaking in a angle that is different from the way that the model is turning to flesh. So you're yeah. You're from a hardcore art family then, Chibi. You're different. You're different. My mom I grew up with my parents looking at my stuff, if they looked at my stuff, and saying, "Oh, that's very nice." You know. So I like somebody who's going to be honest and who's going to really look at my stuff. Which is why I love David. David is never going to pull punches if I'm slacking. Ever. My boyfriend is going to be harder on me than anybody else looking at my work, probably, which I always appreciate. Having somebody who will be honest with you is worth its weight in gold. It doesn't mean he's not a fan of my stuff, and I'm totally a fan of his stuff, but... Alrighty. What do we got? Oh my gosh, it's 11 already. How did it get to be 11? Alright, well, let's just finish streaking out some marbly stuff then. I want a little bit more marbly stuff. Like the light color. Oh, woof. Liquid Nebula, you came in right at the instant I was about to like tell Justin to go look for a raid. But that's fine. I'm gonna do some more streakies. It's hard to do the streakies through the area where the flesh is, so I might just do it like straight through the area. Like so. And then go back and bring in my flesh a little stronger. Because I want to get my my stone texture going through consistently. So I may just have to touch that up. This is where it gets to be a lot of back and forth until you got it where you want it. Yeah, we're doing, so the dark is the skin tone, or it's going to be the skin tone, and the gray is going to be marble, and it's just really rough right now. It's really blocked in. I forgot to do marble up on this part. And the less paint you use to set this up, the more streaky, like the more your brush strokes are going to show, and the less they're going to just naturally blend in. So if you're trying to do a marble with a lot of randomness, put down a heavy coat of your base color before you go in with that light, or you'll have to come back and kind of tune it afterwards to get the streakies to blend in the way you want them to. But if you do want to put in kind of a stark lines from the beginning, then yeah, use less paint to set up your striations. So this looks like a right mess right now. It looks extremely messy. If we were on an episode of Bake Off, Paul Hollywood would say this looks a right mess. But we will improve it. We have time. And really what we're doing is just laying groundwork. And when we come back in, we'll be tuning it to get it a little bit more toward where we want it. So we're just making a lot of streaks and stuff. Oh, somebody asked. Yeah, okay, so what we're doing right now, guys, is we have a new schedule, okay? So I'm doing a different model every day, but the models will cycle. So we will get back to this lady, but we won't get back to her for like a week. So I'm trying to kind of spread it out so we can work on a lot of different projects, and that way every day we're looking at slightly different subjects, and it's something that Reaper wanted me to do, so we're trying it out to see how it works. So yeah, so and we're starting a lot of new projects too, because I had gotten close to being done on so many. So we started the cat person yesterday, and we started this today, and then here, let me give you guys a sneak preview of tomorrow's model, and then we can start looking for a raid. One second, I think I've got enough marbly effects on here. I'll have to I'll be working these together because some of them are going in different directions, and so I'm going to want it all to interlace, and I'm going to want a lot more drama in my marble, and I'm going to want more white over here as well. I'm using bleached linen for the white. So we are going to keep working a lot on that marble to get it to look correct as we move on. But we need to, essentially I block it in and then I start tightening and tightening and tightening and tightening until it looks awesome. Nope, I'm not taking tomorrow off that I know, as far as I know of. Unless, is Justin, are your wisdom teeth, like, did you get that done?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you sound so sick. Well, okay, we didn't take the day off, guys, because John was able to run the stream. And Justin is a sickly Justin, but he's with us. So yeah, we're not taking tomorrow off. We're good. So what we're doing tomorrow is Bobby Jackson's Highland Heroine. Yay! So she's cool, and she's got a big claymore that she holds like that. She's neat. And we're going to work on her, and when we get to her cape, we are going to do tartan. So we're going to start her tomorrow. So we're starting so many new models, guys. I really like this mini, and I've been looking for a mini to do tartan on, so to do plaid. So we won't get to it right away, but we will start working on her, and we will eventually get to the plaid. So yeah, that's what we're doing tomorrow. And then I believe Friday is the Sphinx. Yeah, many sorries to Justin for his not feeling well. I need to fix my bikini. It's lopsided. It's got definite issues. It's just, Scott, you approve of that mini. We'll have to figure out which tartan we want to do. Maybe I'll give that to you, Kariniko. You decide what tartan we do on since you're Scottish. Can choose a tartan. Choose any one. I should be able to simplify almost any tartan to the point where we can use it on the figure, since that cape's pretty big. So I hereby place that responsibility in your hands. I really liked it when I was in Scotland. I would really like to go back. Scotland was, I had been to England before and I had been to Ireland before, but I really liked Scotland. Hello, Sean Allen. We were just finishing up. We were doing kind of a stone to flesh fade on this guy. It's up to I mean, okay, you can make almost any tartan translate if you're working on something big like that cape to miniature size. You can't do the fine details, but you can break down a tartan to its like most integral elements, and you can usually do it. So almost any tartan, I want to say, can be roughly duplicated. Now, if it's got a lot of really thin, small lines, you're going to have to drop those. So if the tartan depends on fine lines of multiple colors, then you're going to essentially have to simplify those out somewhat. And how you simplify it is just pretty much, to me, based on how it's going to look. Just the general effect of dropping one color or another. So we'll get to that. We'll get to how to do tartan. But I mean, the fact is, it's just like freehand. Doing a tartan is doing freehand, and you use the same principles. So with freehand, you have to simplify the design until you can actually reproduce it or carry the gist of it on a miniature. To do tartan on a miniature, you do the same thing. You must simplify the design to the point where you can execute it. Yeah, there's a lot to choose from. Well, it's up to you, Kerniko. These guys are all saying Black Watch, but you should ignore them and just choose one that you think you like. But yeah, it's all about simplification. I mean, because you're working on such a small surface. You're working at such a tiny surface. So if you tried to shrink a plaid down, like if you take your favorite plaid shirt and you put it across, like down as far away as you can get, like put it out in the backyard on one side of your yard, go to the other side of your yard and look at it. And notice what colors you can really see from that distance. That's what I'm talking about with simplification. We can go a little bit, we can cheat a little bit there with doing like at least one fine line. But, yeah. Yeah, hot tea with honey in it. See, they're advising you to drink, Justin, to get rid of your teeth woes. Yeah, some of the tartans really are horrible, Kariniko. That's for sure. There are some really suspect tartans out there that would look awful. But I want you to come up with one early because it'll dictate the colors for the rest of the figure. So you have a week, or no, wait. We can. I guess we start tomorrow. You have a day. It would help if you at least knew I'm going to pick a primarily dark green tartan, or I'm going to pick a primarily lighter blue tartan, or I'm going to pick one with a lot of yellow, or something like that, right? Just give me a clue. All right, so Justin, who is out there today for rating?
Let me check.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty well here, guys, with our little setup for our marble. I'm very happy with how the front looks. It'll start to really go once we I would carry the color of the greaves in, so I can do the marble on the greaves and get color on the other side. That'll be fun.
Let's read Sky Daddy.
Sky Daddy? All right, it sounds good. And everybody is very sad that Justin is so very sad. You sound like you're rough.
It's fine. No, I mean, I had him removed yesterday. And
second day is the worst.
Yeah, it actually was fine until I took my pain medicine, my antibiotic, and they gave me prednisone, which is a steroid, which I didn't anticipate.
Right.
Those three have made me very, very nauseous.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will end this stream then to end Justin's suffering. End the suffering of Justin, guys. Alrighty. Sky Daddy, go say hi to her. She's super upbeat body painter, and I always tell people the way she does her highlights on her face and her shoulders are really instructive for miniature painting. So you should totally go and watch her stuff. She's a super fun person, and hopefully will get us all feeling bright and shiny for our Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll work on the Highland Heroine from Bobby Jackson. To do a recap, today we set up a marble color and a skin color on our living statue, which we will continue to refine in future weeks. So have a great day, everybody, and this is Anne. I'm out of here.
Thank you guys very much, and thank you for the well wishes. You guys have a fantastic day. You'll either see me or John for Lucas stream this afternoon, so I'll see you guys later.